You don't need a lot of high heat for this part.
Yeah,
This is a stringer that Bullseye makes, and you just you go underneath the flame this time, and there's a little sweet spot down here underneath the flame that you just barely, you don't really get a gather, you just get your stringer hot, touch it to the bead, and go back up into the flame to melt it off. Then you touch it, go back up into the flame and melt it off. Then you touch it, go back up into the flame and melt it off. Touch it, go back up into the flame and melt it off. And they won't all be, you know, maybe the same size or whatever, but you can make them work before you melt them in. You can tweak them a little bit. See how this one's a little off center from that one? So what you can do is, when that happens, I need a little X-Acto blade. You do? Good. Okay, so see, this one's a little off, but it's not melted in very much. So I can get that one hot and just go over a little bit. Just tweak it over. I'm just moving it a little bit from this side to the left with the X-Acto blade.
Cool.
You see? And this one's a little far over to the left, so I'm gonna get it hot, and then shape it, make it go a little bit farther to the right. You see how you can manipulate the glass with different tools? Then once you get them fairly even, they're not the best dots in the world, but they'll work. Then you can cook them in and go a little slow at first so that you can see them all and make sure that they're all, you know, fairly centered and fairly even, and then you can cook them in. Now you don't have to cook them all the way in. You can just cook them partially in and leave them like a little Sputnik capsule. So you can leave them like that, or you can put another color on top of that, like, and if you do that, it's better if you mash them down a little bit. So take each one and mash it with, see, like that? So it turns, so it's easier to hit the bullseye if you're putting another color on there. You see there? So now you have them like that, and you can leave them like that, but we are going to, I'm going to use this color, which is French vanilla, or ivory. That one was over a little bit, and I must have not done that one. But that's okay. This is just a demo. So now you put another little dot. I'm used to having my armrests, so I'm not as good at this table. Put a little dot, go up the same way. You can put smaller dots just by not heating as much glass in the flame, and not pressing it as hard either. That one was kind of crooked, so I broke it off. Add a little more. Then you can melt those in. And then you have dots on top of dots, on top of dots, on top of dots.